Matthew Noble right there on the outside. And Veritas will strip the ball from St. Chris. St. Chris fighting to regain possession. And that is Veritas's ball. Veritas will kick that to the outside. It will go out of bounds. Matthew Noble with the throw, and she's passing that off to... I cannot tell who that is. And even if I could, I might not have lost off work on getting one of those done halftime. I see William Newman in there. And that is out on St. Chris. Veritas ball. We were counting down on the clock here at St. Chris, so we have 26 minutes left. St. Chris is having to play.
Deflected off a St. Chris student. Veritas ball.
St. Chris having to put up a little more of a fight than they've had some other games, which I think is a sign of Veritas' improvement this season. St. Chris hoping, though, to get another win. St. Chris's JV soccer team has so far done pretty well. I believe there's only been 1 or 2 losses. 2 losses, I think. One versus Benedictine, which they within the second game won. And the keeper will get that. A little bit of a risky play there. St. Stephen's. Yeah, probably got a little nervous there. Right now, the varsity soccer team is at Veritas playing. They have remained undefeated. There are 3 ties. 1 tie against Benedictine, 1 tie against Trinity, and 1 tie against... I forget who it was. It was someone from the Eastern Mennonite Classic. Episcopal, maybe? Yeah. I'm not sure. Throwing St. Chris. So, varsities, both soccers, varsity and JV, have looked pretty good this season. And that is kicked out by Veritas. Oh no, St. Chris.
That was Matthew Noble on the one-on-one there. Pretty dangerous move by Veritas to put one guy on Matthew. You see him going down the field one-on-one. I wouldn't want to be the defender there.
No, I would not.
Just an elite player.
Yeah. Oh no, it is a corner kick for St. Chris. I was so right originally. I will amend my amendment. Kick in there. Gardner Kaufman gets the ball. He will get that out of the mob of St. Chris players. And a good save there by the goalie. That was a risky play there. St. Chris is not going to make this easy for Veritas.
Max Mumford with a nice play there.
JV soccer right now is 9-2. The first loss was against Christchurch Episcopal, and the second was against Benedictine, which then they won 3-1 the next game. The time they played Benedictine at St. Chris. I believe I was on that call. Another shot by St. Chris. That will be Benedictine's ball. St. Chris has been working on trying to get a shot on goal. They've had 2 or 3 close ones. And I think we're just beginning to see St. Chris settle down a little more. A little bit less of these inaccurate mistakes and little things. And that was saved by Matthew Noble, and I cannot tell who that is. I apologize. And then Veritas will strip it. Then St. Chris will strip it back. Matthew Noble there with a shot. The keeper will save that before St. Chris can make anything of it. St. Chris is not going to give this goalkeeper any rest whatsoever. Good kick there by the goalkeeper. That is number 5, Hayes. He is working on getting something out of this play. That is then kicked into the center of action, headed out by Veritas. Luke Ryan working that back out to the outside. St. Chris kind of setting up a little bit of attacking formation here. Max Mumford with the ball though. He has been one of the sophomore leaders on this team, and his brother has a star varsity soccer player, so we've had some great success from both of them this season. It should be good, interesting to see what Max does this game. St. Chris really has been favoring this, for the viewer, left side field, passing it around, looking for a shot, looking for someone to get open in the goal.
Yeah, Harris, based on so far, what do you think the outcome of the game is going to look like?
I think St. Chris may win this if we can get the if St. Chris continues to put on shots and plays good defense. We've seen it, St. Chris do well so far. St. Chris has done well against Veritas in the past. St. Chris also has a good keeper gets it there. Risky play. Gardner Kaufman will get that out. No, that's not Gardner. No, I think that is Gardner Kaufman.
Yeah, that was Gardner Kaufman, another elite defensive / midfield player.
Sophomore leadership again. But as I was saying, St. Chris's ability to just continue to work even when they're down, when they're up, but just constantly working on scoring and playing defense, I think should get them in a pretty good position to win, though. You never know what the outcome will be. That's why they play the game. I mean, if you look at professional sports, if you look Philadelphia Phillies right now, no one expected them to make it to the playoffs. I didn't expect them, and they kind of came out of nowhere, beat the Braves, who had clobbered them,
and they'll lose next round too. So
yeah, well, you never know.
I mean, personally, I got the Yankees, but it's not what we're here to talk about.
No, it is not. I should stop getting both myself and you off topic. I'm very good at that. Matthew Noble there. He has done well. That is William Newman working on getting a shot off here. He will get the ball, trying to get through, and that is kicked out.
Should be
by Veritas, I think.
Yeah, it should be a corner kick for the Saints there.
Lucas Cornelius will take it. We're going to see a bit of action on, for the view, the right side of the field. Something that we have not seen so far. I've been a little surprised by the amount of playing and just simmering their spin on the left side of the field. And Lucas Cornelius will take it. St. Chris hoping to make something out of it. Luke Ryan trying to get ahead of then Max Mumford will try to take a shot. Both of them will unfortunately be either a little to the right or a little over, though. St. Chris is not going to give up right now. 0-0, 18 minutes left in the first half. This is a 35-minute game.
Yeah, I mean, the score doesn't really show how offensively dominant the Saints have been this game.
Yeah, the Saints have done pretty well. Shout out George Julius, our cameraman, and Mike Hilbert, CPU. Winston Morris, who's also here with us today.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, we got Taco Tuesday, Winston Morris in the building with the poncho thing. Yeah.
And that is a throw-in for the Saints. William Newman hoping to get that. Veritas will strip that from the Saints. Max Mumford will get that, trying to pass it through. Veritas defenders, though, not giving him any leeway. Hayes will kick that back out to this left side of the field, where they kick it in hoping to find an open Saints, only to find a cluster of Veritas defenders. St. Chris will get about the half line, midline, and they will try to get that through, though Veritas has gotten it. Veritas has done a good job today, I think, for the amount of shots and offense the Saints have played to not let any goals in. For the Saints, I think at this point it's just trying to get converting some of these shots. They've had 3 or 4, potentially 5 shots that have been pretty good and just haven't been able to convert, haven't been able to quite finish it. So I think St. Chris at this point mainly just needs to focus on maybe getting a little bit of that finishing touch, a little more accuracy, just getting the groove. Finished in us. Luke Ryan will strip that from Veritas and score. And Lucas going near. It's a one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and he tries, and the goalkeeper will save that. Lucas going near will get it back. It's a 1-on-4, a 1-on-5, and that is a corner kick.
It's actually, I think, a goal kick.
Goal kick, yeah. Oh. Yep.
As we wait for him to kick it, give a shout out to Harris's grandparents. Harris Wolf. He told me to give him a shout out. Hope you're enjoying the game.
St. Chris working on getting a goal here. Luke Ryan getting that about half midline, trying to get that through. Matthew Noble trying to get that to William Newman. Veritas is going to kick that out. That is going to be a corner kick. A little bit, I think, of a wet playing field. It's a little bit smoggy. So that may be affecting a little bit of the Saints' play.
So they didn't get a goal.
Lucas Gornier is going to kick that, and Veritas is going to send that out. That will be another corner kick for St. Chris. We apologize for a little bit of technical difficulties. Ooh, and that will go for the Veritas fingers and hit the crossbar.
Near goal by Max Mumford there. See a lot of him on the offense.
Not. Max Mumford will be taking this corner. Oh, good play there by the keeper. Lucas Gornier really had a good game. He may not have scored any goals, but he has really put the Saints in several positions where they can. And that is a handball, I think. Bounced up and hit the... Who is that? I cannot tell this. My son, and I already barely know these players. So, St. Chris will kick that back out of it to the other side. Anyway, Lucas Gornier is saying he's had a pretty good game today. He shows a lot of potential. Oh, and Hayes Carruthers just kicks that up. Barely blocked by the Veritas goalie. St. Chris really is going to make this tough for them. With a 1-on-5, 1-on-6, Lucas Gornier will get the ball. The Veritas goalkeeper, though, will save that. Good going there by the Veritas. That was a tough predicament, and good job, Lucas Gornier. That was some of the best dribbling and just defensive, offensive playing I've seen. I shouldn't say defensive, offensive playing I've seen. Throwing for the Saints, Gallagher Kaufman will take it, trying to get Max Mumford to maybe convert something. Oh, and that will hit the Veritas' defender's foot, making the shot go a little wonky, and then it will get scooped up by the Veritas keeper. Again, I apologize for not having a roster. I will work on getting one of those at halftime. And that is kicked out by Veritas. With, I think, some substitutions. William Newman exiting the field. He's done a good job this game. Shout out William Newman. Hayes with the ball right here. Working back and forth on, again, this left side of the field. Not quite sure why the Saints are spending more time on the left side than the right. Usually they work it up the right side, if I'm remembering from other games. Matthew Noble trying to get a shot there, and the Veritas goalkeeper is going to have to really work to keep that one in his possession. But St. Chris has spent a lot of time on the left side. I'm sure they have some strategy that they're working on getting to get a goal here. Probably developed from last time to play Veritas, though. This game's been a lot slower, and the St. Chris goalkeeper is going to do a little bit of a risky play coming out the goal there, but it will end up paying off for him, as St. Chris will end up with the ball coming down the left side of the field. Max Mumford there, passing it to Luke Ryan. Over to number, I think that's Alex, maybe? Trying to get that to, I'm not sure who that is either. I apologize. Veritas gets the ball, though. St. Chris has set up almost at this barrier at half line to keep possession, and they are working, and they will try to pass that, intercepted by Veritas defender. St. Chris fighting to keep the ball. They are not going to give Veritas any room for air here. Matthew Noble with the ball, passing it. That is kicked over, maybe to make something out of it. Man, this Veritas group is having a great game. He's had probably 10 saves. That may not be. Yeah, so good job, number 57 for Veritas. I apologize that I do not know your name, but you've played phenomenally well today. Lucas going near, Hayes Corridas with the ball, hoping to get a shot off. And that is intercepted by number 57.
That was a great pass by Max Mumford there to try and make something happen, but didn't work.
Yeah, St. Chris has not been able to convert as well today. Not quite sure if it's just they will come into this and Veritas has changed up the plays on them, or whether it's just some wrinkling out some issues. But St. Chris is not going to give up, and we've already seen quite an improvement from the first 2 or 3 minutes. So expect to see some great things from St. Chris as we get close to the second half and the first half. Saints working maybe to get the point up here on the scoreboard before the half. Though St. Chris is going to have to work for it. Though St. Chris is going to manage to get that. And that is a goal! Slips right through the fingers. I think that was a goal. Yeah, goal by Max Mumford. Barely slips through the goalkeeper's hands.
Yeah.
After, I mean, how many shots put on him?
Yeah, goalie's been consistent all day, but it only takes one.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to keep up when you're constantly.
Got Wright Hilbert here laughing at my analogies. Comment
Not
L
quite
Wright.
sure.
He's
Not quite
yeah.
sure
He's laughing.
what Andrew's doing over here. Getting a little bit distracted from the game. St. Chris happy to get a point on. Just as I was talking about them trying to get a point on the board, they managed to do it. Max Mumford here, and he's going to get that, and that is offsides. St. Chris Veritas' ball.
That was a good look by Max, but just a little offsides.
Yeah. Nothing that St. Chris can really do about that. St. Chris, I think, with this goal, with a little bit of confidence, momentum on their side, are going to begin to maybe make some more stuff. Matthew Noble coming in, and then Max Mumford, Lucas going near. St. Chris is not going to make this any easier. Oh, and that is just outside. That will be a free kick, I think is what it's called. I really should learn this terminology for soccer. Veritas gets that. St. Chris will intercept it. St. Chris has played, I think, probably the majority of possessive time. Good shot there by Lucas Gornier. Veritas goalie is going to get that. We'll bring that in. Good effort there by St. Chris. For those of you who do not know, as you might see, there's some lights around the 6, 7, I believe. Seven lights around the baseball and soccer field. Sorry, double checking. And 5 around the. That is thrown for Veritas, and 5 of it at the football, lacrosse track fields. Well, track isn't a field. So hope to see some nighttime games here.
Yeah, that would be very fun.
St. Chris is going to have to play some defense here for the first time in a bit. Veritas is not going to make St. Chris be able to slack in any way. Veritas is going to constantly be applying pressure. Lucas Gornier rushing to get the ball. William Newman gets it. It's a one-on-one with the goalie, and he scores. After 27 minutes of inactivity, we now have gotten 2 goals for St. Chris in 4 minutes, or thereabouts. So
it's a great decision by William Newman there to wait till the goalie pushes up.
Yeah,
and go to the side.
I think this goalie, he's played great this game, but he's just had so many shots and so many times that he's had to apply and pressure and work that it's bound to happen at some point for some of these goals to go in, especially with St. Chris constantly pushing and constantly working on breaking down the defense. Sorry about the camera there. Little bit of new stand. Gonna say that a regular streaming camera, which I prefer, and I know some of the other SID members prefer, is getting serviced. We had some issues with it, which is why we couldn't stream varsity soccer this Saturday, unfortunately. Though that, I believe, was a win, and that is just over the goal. That will be Veritas' ball with about 3 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock. And I think that's Jake. Is that I think he's one of the 8th graders.
Yeah, we got a lot of
And that
8th and 9th graders on this team.
Yeah, a lot of underclassmen. A great look for the future of St. Chris Soccer. And that is another goal by Lucas Gornier. Lucas Gornier, I think that may be that is his first of the game, which is pretty good. He's had a lot of effort. St. Chris now leads 3-0
Yeah, offense is kind of starting to click here with the goals.
I mean, in 6 minutes, they're averaging a goal every 2 minutes here after 27 minutes of inactivity. So this is beginning to look up for St. Chris, and Veritas, I think, is going to have to really push it and really work if they want to get this game back. It is by no means out of their reach or out of their control to win, but with the amount of pressure and tension St. Chris is applying, they're going to really have to work hard. That is a throw-in for St. Chris. That is thrown in, and that is a corner kick for Veritas. I think maybe a little bit of miscommunication there with Saints. They had tight space to work in, so Veritas looking maybe to get a goal and finish the halftime strong. St. Chris defense is going to be pushing that farther and farther towards midline. Veritas fighting just to maintain possession. St. Chris will end up stripping that. And the goalkeeper is going to come way out to work on getting that. Lucas Gornier tries to get that. Unfortunately, just misses. St. Chris really pushing maybe for a fourth goal this half. Good move there. I think that is Jake. And that is kicked out by Veritas. St. Chris ball. And that is half before St. Chris can throw it in. Thank you, Saints fan. We will end this half. Saints up 3-0.
Thank you for meeting with Thank you for meeting with us today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man.
All right, so
How you guys doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good.
So I'm just gonna hop right into this. So I think the meeting is now recording. Thank you for meeting with us. So I'm gonna start off the meeting. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our first What's Next meeting of the 2022-2023 school year. Here with us today, we have St. Christopher's alum and current head coach of the Utah Jazz, Coach Will Hardy. Coach Hardy, we understand how packed your schedule is, so thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. We are all extremely excited to have you join us today for our first club meeting.
Appreciate you guys.
The mission of our club is to teach students what careers are available and how they can best pursue them. So, Coach Hardy, when you went to Williams College to play basketball, did you have the idea that you would ever become a basketball coach, or were you thinking you would want to pursue a different career?
Yeah, honestly, when I went to college, I didn't have a grand plan for the rest of my life. Basketball was a huge part of my life then because I was playing. And honestly, I was, 18 when I graduated from St. Chris, and I really didn't have the rest of my life thought through very far. I was kind of going to school to, get an education and play basketball and sort of figure it out when I got there. I definitely, when I got there as a freshman, there were plenty of kids at Williams that seemed to sort of have the rest of their life already planned out. But my personality just isn't like that. I never really was somebody that had like a grand plan.
Yes, sir. So what made you realize, was there any specific moment that made you realize that you wanted to become a basketball coach?
Yeah, during my junior year, I got injured, and our coach spent a lot of time with me, inviting me up to the coach's offices with him and the assistants, asking me a lot of questions about what I thought about this or that, or is this too much for the team, or what do you think about this offensive concept? And he was really the one, Mike Maker, he was really the one that kind of sparked that interest for me to be a coach. So it really wasn't until my junior year of college that all of a sudden it was, oh, maybe this is even a possibility. And that being said, when I went to graduate as a senior, I had applied to jobs in like 5 different fields, and it wasn't zeroed in on just being a basketball coach. And then when I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity with the Spurs, my life sort of headed in that direction.
Yes, sir. So, what major did you pursue at Williams College, and how has this helped you on your journey to becoming an NBA coach? And what classes did you find most useful for your career or just your life in general?
Wow. I was an English major at Williams, um, which has probably helped me not a ton being a basketball coach. Other than the fact that the way that the classes were set up, a lot of the English classes, a lot of them were discussion based. It's a lot less about what the right answer is. It was more how you interpreted things and a lot of group discussion with the students and the teachers, which, that's a big part of coaching. It's a big part of being around a team is there's always group dynamics and group discussions trying to kind of come to a consensus. So I would say it was more the way the classes were set up that ends up helping me now than the actual content. Like I don't know how much Moby Dick is helping me right now.
Yes, sir. Um, how did your assistant coaching job with the San Antonio Spurs as well as the Boston Celtics help you prepare for now being the head coach of the Jazz?
I mean, it, it's been everything for me in terms of my learning as a coach. I really only knew basketball as a player going through high school and college. And, I had to learn, and I'm still learning sort of the art of coaching. Um, Whether that's the technical, tactical part, but also some of the human leadership, kind of guiding people, managing your staff, managing the players. All of that is stuff that I had to learn, and I was lucky in San Antonio and in Boston to work for and work with, a lot of really, really good coaches that helped me along the way. I for sure would not be sitting where I am without the experiences in both those places.
Yes, sir. Do you is there any specific thing that you remember either Coach Popovich or Coach Udoka doing that in order to help you to get to where you are now?
Um, I mean, there's just so many lessons along the way. I think Pop always encouraged me and all the assistants that worked for him to, find our own voice and to not try to be him. Um, there's a fine line between learning from somebody and trying to parrot kind of who they are and what they do. I mean, I find myself saying things that he has said to the team, or phrases or things that stick with you, but I have to do it with my own personality. I have to be authentic to who I am, because the players, the staff, everybody in our organization, like it's not believable if I'm trying to be somebody else. And it's pretty easy to pick up on when people are kind of acting and not being themselves.
That makes sense. To what do you attribute your success at such a young age?
Hmm. I mean, there's a lot of luck, honestly, a lot of good timing. I think a lot more is made of my age than there probably should be. I think, I've said this publicly. I don't think about it like that. I don't think about my age in that way. This is my 13th year in the NBA. And so I've had a lot of great experiences. And like I said, a lot of people that along the way have taken their time and energy to teach me and help me grow. But for things to have happened, I guess, this quickly, I'm not naive to the fact that there is some good fortune, some good timing along the way that has gotten me to this spot. I really don't believe that there is a secret recipe to getting somewhere quickly. I always just tried to do the job that I had and tried to work hard and tried to be a part of the group and try to be a good person. Um, and so I think I accomplished that part, and then there was some good fortune along the way that kind of propelled me into some different roles and helped me get some promotions, and here I am.
Yes, sir. When you attended St. Christopher's, what did you believe your job would be once you finished college? And now that you are an NBA coach, what would you recommend students interested in sports pursue in college?
Yeah, honestly, man, when I was at St. Chris, I had no idea what I was going to do with my life. Like I never thought like that. Again, that's just my personality, but I never tried to get too far ahead of myself. I think um, sometimes people worry about the end, the end of the story too much. The middle's the best part. Like I just tried to kind of take it all as it came at me. I know there were probably times that my parents wish I had more of a long-term plan. Um, but like, how old are you?
I'm 16.
Yeah, like again, my personality is like you shouldn't know what the rest of your life's going to look like yet because sometimes things happen organically and you meet somebody and they introduce you to somebody else and then this other light bulb over here goes off and you're like, oh, I never even considered that, but maybe that would be cool for me.
What's it? 5 minutes.
Welcome back to the second half. Shout out to Winston Morris for covering camera real quick.
What a great cameraman.
He knows so much about cameras.
St. Chris has already put this on the Veritas side. For those of you just tuning in, St. Chris scored 3 in the last 8 minutes, 2 of which were in the last 4 minutes. St. Chris will get the ball. Veritas will intercept that. The St. Chris is going to force him behind midline. St. Chris is not making this easy for Veritas. Matthew Noble there.
The defenders this game have been very good. Just, when it goes back there, they just pass it around and get it back to the strikers.
Offense. Yep.
Yeah.
St. Chris has really been working. Someone has managed to throw some sort of ball right into the playing field. Veritas keeper kicked that away. Sometimes, if you have some of these slow interactions, team things, just kids messing around outside the soccer field, it kind of sometimes it ends up on the soccer field without them meaning to. St. Chris fighting to get it back has had the majority of the possession this game, but they are not making it easy on Veritas, and Veritas is, after halftime, I think, a little rejuvenated and they're going to be out here with this more of a urge to fight. Without some of the fatigue, they were going to be, I think, able to play better. We're going to see a little more, I think, of the Veritas we saw in the first 25 minutes or so of the game. That was just constantly stopping shots and constantly causing turnovers and played offense, almost had a goal. Would have been completely different momentum if they got that first goal, except those offsides. So,
Yeah, I mean, for Veritas this half, they really need to work on just getting into the strikers. It's been mainly Saints offense based.
the Veritas keeper will get that. St. Chris will head it back about the midline. Veritas will end up, though, with possession. They're fighting, and St. Chris, I think, will end up, St. Chris will end up with possession. The Veritas is quick to get it back. I think one of the things Veritas needs is a little bit less of this just back and forth between the two teams, and a little bit more directness and a little more I don't know how to phrase exactly, but a little more just steady, constant moving forward. But St. Chris with some momentum behind them is not going to give them any room for error. St. Chris is just going to continuously pass it, working on fatiguing some of these defenders. Gardner Kaufman will get that out, and I believe that is either Nate or I'm not sure. I think that's one of the eighth graders, though, who I mixed up. I do apologize to those who I either don't know your name or I mixed it up. And to Veritas, and I do apologize. I did not get a roster during halftime. But great job, nonetheless. I mean, number 57, the Veritas keeper, he has played an amazing game despite letting 3 goals in. He's probably saved 15, so.
The momentum of this game here is it's kind of starting to shift over to Veritas here.
Yeah, I think we're seeing a little less of that just constant bombardment of shots we saw earlier from St. Chris.
Yeah, a little bit more aggressiveness from the Veritas offense too.
Yeah. Good save there by the Veritas goalie. Andrew, what do you think of the Veritas' goalie's performance this game?
I just think he's very good. I mean, he saved a lot of shots. I mean,
Yeah.
I think me personally wouldn't be able to do that. So
Yeah.
I think he's let in 3, but if you look at the stats, he's definitely a lot of goals shot or taken.
By St. Chris. So, yeah. St. Chris's defense is going to intercept that. They're going to kick that around, kind of spreading out the Veritas players, making them work, run, fatigue them a little bit. St. Chris is really almost running down a little bit of clock time, and that is kicked out by Veritas. Saints ball. I think Veritas has done a good job this half of slowing the Saints' momentum, as Andrew was saying earlier, and really not letting St. Chris get as many shots. I think we have a great future here for soccer at St. Chris. I mean, we have a lot of young talent on this team. We have quite a bit of young talent in the varsity. That is Veritas' ball. 4 freshmen on the varsity soccer team and 4 sophomores, I believe. Ben Smith, Dougie Boardman as keepers for the sophomores. Stephen Bashara, Jack Bleacham, who made it as a freshman. I know freshman Daniel Kehoe made it. I do not remember off the top of my head the others that made it, but that is going to be get to St. Chris's offense, who Matthew Noble's going to kick that a little outside of the goal. Effort by him, but great work here by the St. Chris offense.
Yeah,
Great effort by Veritas defense.
I think Noble there tried to psych out the defender by going with a low shot.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, St. Chris, all they have to do to win is just play keep away. So I think you'll begin seeing a little with that, a little less of risk taking, knowing that they don't have to take all the risk. They don't have to play as aggressive to win at this point. All they need to do is just play as well as their opponent and just keep them from getting a lot of shots, keep them from being able to constantly score, and that is St. Chris throwing, and keep them from really getting an opportunity to tie up this game, win this game. So I think you can see a little bit of that has changed his strategy a little bit. Max Mumford, though, will kick that to Charles Lang over to Matthew Noble. Veritas defenders will intercept that. Though it is a battle. That is Veritas' ball. A little bit of this battle at midline. I've seen it several times before in soccer, just back and forth at midline. William Newman entering the field for the Saints. He had a goal so far this game. Great shot, just coming forward, managing to wait for the keeper just long enough to get him out of the way. Get the keeper drawn out a little much. I mean, tough situation for the keeper, of course, but the keeper will save that. But his goal, I think, was a combination of both skill and understanding what the keeper would do. I mean, great effort there. Veritas is really working to get this, but St. Chris is not making it easy for them at all.
A lot of good pitch outs from the Veritas defense here.
Yeah. What? Put me back. This will be another throw for Veritas. And that is out on the Saints. Veritas has gotten several more throw-ins this half, the last half. We're about 12 minutes into this half. 23 minutes left. The clock at St. Chris counts down for soccer. So Matthew Noble will get the ball there. He is working on the outside, looking to see if he can feed it to someone. He makes it past the defender, feeds it in, hoping that someone can get there for him. But Veritas defense does a good job there of closing out people. Though St. Christopher will cover that, however, in a 1v3 along with a plethora of Veritas defenders in the middle. St. Chris is not going to be able to do much. And that is, I believe, a corner kick for St. Chris. Max Month, the number 11, will take that. He's been a great sophomore leader of this team. What do you think, Andrew, about some of these sophomore leaders on this team?
I think they'll be very good to have for the varsity team. And somebody needs to step up, and there's a lot of good freshmen on the team already, so it won't be too much of a problem.
Yep. And the Veritas keeper manages to keep that. That was tough. It bounced up, bounced through his hands and up again. So good that he managed to keep that.
The offensive
Caleb
shift.
here will get that.
The offensive shift that Veritas had going into the half is kind of started to shift over to the Saints, even though they are on defense right now.
Caleb passes that over to Gardner, who will kick that out. Lucas Gornier there. though. That is... Not sure what it is, but I believe that will be Veritas' ball. Also see some of the cross-country guys running below us. Shout out to cross-country. I see Declan McDonald, cross-country star. So, shout out to all those guys. I know that they don't get as much recognition as some of the other sports do in the fall. I mean, soccer and football really are the only ones that get streamed. Mountain biking too, so shout out to both of those sports. Oh, I know that a lot of guys have been putting in effort. 4 o'clock, we're going to get a shot off though. And the 1v2, Veritas will get that back. This has been, I think, regular to see that a team might get the ball. One of the skilled attackers, strikers, will get the ball, but then there's just so many defense, or they don't have someone they can pass it to, that it just makes it difficult for them to make a play out of it. Though Veritas here is working on getting it back. They are on St. Chris's side and midline with a throw, and I think we're beginning to see much more of a push than we had earlier. So, St. Chris has about 20 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, really good job by the Veritas defense so far by not letting any goals in, barely any shots taken.
Yep.
Every shot that's been taken has been saved too. So.
Yeah. St. Chris did get lucky with the first goal being offsides, and since then they've kind of settled into a groove. So. See ya. We've seen quite a bit of substitutions today on the JV Stalker. Of players in, out, and then back in again.
Yeah,
I think
well,
Coach Hudson's getting a little bit Friday, getting some players that don't always get some time in, and also just keeping everyone from getting fatigued. I mean, almost all the guys I'd say on this roster are skilled athletes, but
yeah, I mean, we'll probably get to see that some more as if the Saints keep their lead.
yep. But just I think smart move by the keepers. Smart move by the coaches, keeping the players from getting fatigued. We've seen several substitutions, JV2. And that is a corner kick for Red. Let's see. 3 substitutes lining up to get in for Veritas, and 1 for St. Chris. Max Mumford will take the corner. Veritas will get that and send it the other way. St. Chris will end up, though, ahead of it, and will manage to send it back. Caleb there, number 7, another one of the sophomores who's, I think, stepped up some this year. Ooh, and that is a good shot by St. Chris. That will unfortunately miss, and then the follow-up shot will also get outside the goal, so... Great effort there by St. Chris. Seeing a little bit more of that aggressiveness, the offensiveness that we saw in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, I mean, they just kind of got unlucky there with the way the ball bounced after the goalie saved it. There could have been another shot attempt there.
The Veritas keeper will be kicking it. St. Chris will get the ball. Though I think good job to Veritas. I mean, compared to the first game of the year, I believe St. Chris scored 10-1. So Veritas, I think, has showed a lot more defense and a lot more effort, and probably I shouldn't say effort, but a lot more just patience and work than I would imagine was the first game. I think also that might have just been part of first game of the season fluke a little bit. We're beginning to see Veritas after a season of getting back into shape and getting into the groove of things. So good job, Veritas. I think they've done a good job so far. Right now, Varsity Soccer's at Veritas playing. Not sure what the score is there. That will be St. Christus though, and if I had a method, I would probably we would update y'all, but unlike some of the other games, White Hilbert is here, not on the ground, giving us live action updates as he was with the Trinity game. Shout out White Hilbert. He's been all over the place with some of these varsity teams, taking pictures and having live updates for it. And that is a goal for St. Chris. Just through the goalkeeper's arms, the Saints will now lead 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, all they really need to do now is just play some pretty good defense.
Yeah.
Make some good passes, kind of run out the clock here.
Yep. I mean, St. Chris's, I think, strategy, I'm not sure what it will be, whether they're just going to go for it and continue scoring goals or playing a little more safe, not trying to go into nearly as many risks. I mean, already we see St. Chris playing aggressively, not giving Veritas any breathing room if they can. So, good job by St. Chris, I think. I mean, just not letting themselves get sloppy after time, just getting comfortable, because that's when you start to see comebacks. I mean, especially with a team like Veritas that's working hard and it's not going to be, that is out of handball, out of bounds? Not quite sure. Veritas' ball though. But I mean, that's when a team like Veritas that is working hard and is just constantly working to get shots and working to play offense and playing defense. I mean, that's when they can come from behind if a team starts to stop putting in some of the effort. But I think that's not a problem St. Chris has had this game all this year. Looks like a little bit of one of the Veritas players got tripped up there. See, St. Chris being supported there. I mean, that's some good sportsmanship, what we'd like to see. I mean, at the end of the day, it's
never good to see an injury on the field, no matter whose team it is.
At the end of the day, it's always good to have kicked. I mean, George would agree. Here, George. What are your feelings on this game? I'm going to hand it over to our cameraman, George Julius, real quick. George Julius is focusing on camera. Wants to make sure y'all got the best viewership, not wanting to get distracted. And I'm sorry that I'm attempting to distract him from this great game we got here. St. Chris looking, Lucas Gorneal hoping to get another goal here. And that is another goal for Lucas Gorneal. I think that's his second this game. Second, maybe third.
And I thought they would switch to more defensive tactic here, but now they just keep going in with those goals.
St. Chris is not going to lighten up on Veritas. That will be the keeper will get that, and he will be sending back. Shout out to the rest of the cross country team. I see the rest of them ranging from senior to freshman out here. So great job by them. That is a throw for Veritas. Sanker's taken off down to the other side of the field. Lucas Gournier working. He is going to get that ball. Outrun the defenders, though. 3v1 is not going to end well for him. Another attempt, though. The Veritas keeper will save that. I think in this game where it's 5-0, it's sometimes not as easy to think of how talented some of these goalkeepers are, but he is, I mean, for percentage of shots saved this game, he has done great, I think. And, you know, I think it's almost a little bit of a shame for him to, despite having such a great game, lose by 5, or, well, Veritas still has a chance to lessen that lead. St. Chris increase it. But Saints doing well this game, really working on winning. They are not going to... great play there by the Veritas keeper. But St. Chris is not getting distracted by the other stuff. They'll just keep on focusing. I am not sure. Hold on, turn it back on this one. And that is a corner kick for St. Chris. Corner kick for St. Chris. St. Chris has converted, I don't think any of the corner kicks, though, have done a great job of maintaining possession.
Yeah, they haven't been that good on corner kicks so far. I mean, something to work on, but other than that, they've been.
Yeah, I think a little bit of tough defense though from Veritas as part of.
Yeah, corner kicks are always tough. Best approach is to try to get a header in there, but it's always difficult.
Kick from the goalkeeper there. And he saves it right before St. Chris manages to score. St. Chris at the halfway mark, working on get it. Whistles blown. I am not sure what, offsides maybe. I think that's Veritas's ball right above the midline. St. Chris gets in. St. Chris is going to send it back above the midline. We have about 8 minutes remaining left in this game. Saints have managed to get a pretty good lead here. I think St. Chris might be able to hold on and win this, though. Veritas is not going to let that get in the way. They're pushing. I mean, they're really getting, I think, best attacking position, striking position since they have in the first 2 minutes of the game. Though St. Chris is not going to make it easy on them. St. Chris is working on getting that back over the midline. And that is kicked out by Veritas.
Yeah, it's going to be a goal kick there.
Gardner Kaufman will kick that. St. Chris working on maybe getting another goal. I'm going to say this right now in case I forget. Thank you, Andrew O'Leary, for being on this call with me. I'm not sure quite what happened to the volume there. Gets wonky sometimes in the box, but thank you, Andrew O'Leary, for being on this call with me. Thank you to Wright Hilbert for being CPU, George Julius for camera, Winston as support, and he was doing pictures earlier. He will be on a couple other things this week, but great for him to be out here with us without having a duty, just voluntarily stepping up to the plate. I think that's what the leadership we need more of. So good job, Winston Morris. St. Chris has got this and is working on sending it back towards the goal.
Yeah, they don't seem to be really stopping here. They're just
No,
keep
St.
trying
Chris
to
is just
tack on some points.
that Veritas keeper has been putting in the work this game. He has been tested time and time again, and I think he has really gone back in the groove. I think I've seen some pretty good saves by him. Well, pretty good. I've seen some really good saves from him later this half, in the second part of the second half. What will be the fourth quarter if we were splitting this into quarters. So I think he's going to finish this game off strong. He started the game off strong. He'll finish the game off strong. And I think, there's not much he can do about the constant bombardment of goals. And St. Chris just misses getting a goal there for from getting a goal there. See, we have tripping up on some of the chords here. St. Chris working on trying to finish this game out strong. Veritas also is not going to quit. I think Veritas is really going to stay in, maybe try to get a point on the board before the game's over. Great job, Veritas.
Yeah, it always looks better to just get at least 1 point on the board.
Yeah. Great save there by the Veritas keeper. He is done phenomenal this game.
Yeah, that's a future varsity star right there.
Caleb is going to send that back to the strikers. St. Chris is unyielding, unrelenting on this attack. So, St. Chris, I think, has a little bit less momentum, but they still have the momentum nonetheless. I think, I've said this before on stream, for repeat listeners of JV Soccer, but momentum in soccer in general, and all sports, but soccer especially, really can make or break the games, because sometimes momentum, if it's a close game and teams are closely matched, momentum will overcome the discrepancies in skill, discrepancy in planning and strategy, and really can be the deciding factor in some of these games. So the momentum staying with St. Chris, I think, is good. That will be kicked out of bounds by Veritas. Now, trying to delay the St. Chris momentum. Almost about 2 minutes left in this game. Gardner Kaufman, sophomore, working on defense. He's going to send that back up. Veritas is works on getting it. St. Chris, though, I think ends up getting it. It's not sure if anyone really ended up getting it there. It's more so of a fight. That is a throw-in for St. Chris. We have now entered into stoppage time. So about 2 minutes. Usually a little more. I mean, for the time for substitutions, but injured players on the field, that sort of thing. But should be about 2 minutes left. Another save by the Veritas keeper. He's done great this game. St. Chris. That is just kicked out.
Yeah, I mean, this will about do it.
Yep.
I think there's probably about 30 seconds, a minute left.
Gardner Kaufman will return that. And that is, I think, a handball. Bounced up and hit the hands.
Surprised that they're calling that with little to no time left in the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's always good to have a older calls made. Great game from St. Chris, though. Great game from Veritas. That will conclude the game. St. Chris will win 5-0. That's a great game by St. Chris. Great game by Veritas, too. A lot of action from the Veritas goalie today, but he did a pretty good job. St. Chris will win 5-0. Their next game will be Thursday, which I believe I'll be doing camera CPU for. But tune in for that. That will be 4 p.m. on Thursday. I believe there's a JV football game tomorrow. Tune in. Thank you for tuning in.